All right, welcome to Movie Tubers live stream. We're here to talk about Ahsoka episode 5. I have with me two awesome gentlemen who have decided to join me on this stream. One is Movie Time Minutes,
Hey,
and the other, aka DJ. And here's our
yeah,
also Screens and Reviews, aka Jason. So we're brand new to
okay.
streaming. This is our first stream ever. You guys are experiencing something that is monumentous. You've never seen this before in your lives. It's so amazing the experience that you're about to embark on, if you will. But anyway, so yeah. So anyway, please comment down in the chat. Give us a like. Give us a like to help spread the vibrancy or the bandwidth, if you will, of this stream, so that we can talk with more people and reach out to more people as well. In the description is each one of our YouTube channels as well. If you guys like what you see here, feel free to subscribe. But for now, let's talk about some Star Wars. But before we get to that, let's talk about each other. So how's everybody doing? How you doing, DJ? How are you feeling in your life? I love your shirt, by the way.
Yeah, doing great. Glad to be here, and it's always a good day when you get to watch a new Star Wars show that's actually not bad.
Agree.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. And then we'll definitely get to that. But I like where we're going already. Screens and reviews. Jason, how you feeling, man?
Hey guys, yeah, no, I'm feeling great, man. It's a good night, off of work, talking with my buddies. Who can ask for more?
Exactly. Who could ask for more? And the crazy thing is, the only reason that we're asking for so much is because this is Screens and Reviews very first live stream. So let's clap it up for Screens and Reviews very first live stream. DJ, is this your first live stream as well?
Uh, yeah, I think so.
Oh wow!
Wow.
So yeah, we got a bunch of firsts here. It's actually only my third time doing a live stream, so we're rookies at this. Come join us and grow with us. All right, so guys, let's talk about our feelings, our thoughts and feelings on episode 1 and 2 real quick. I know that I don't think any one of us have actually had any content on our channels about the first two episodes. So, DJ or movie time is. Let's start with you. What did you think about the first two episodes?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the first two episodes. I was a little skeptical going into this. I wasn't sure what I was gonna get myself into, if I was just setting myself up for disappointment again or what. But no, as somebody that hadn't even watched all of Rebels, I've just seen bits and pieces and stuff like that throughout it, and some catch up videos I watched before this started. I was able to keep up and had a lot of fun with it.
Nice. What about you, Screens In?
Yeah, so I mean, I was never really I heard things about you had to watch like Rebels and all these other past Star Wars shows, but I was happy to when I watched the first episode, it was a very good introduction. And
Mm-hmm.
Rosario Dawson did amazing. If anyone knows me, I'm like a stickler for like origin stories. So I think that what they gave us with her was definitely um, great. Just because I don't know so much about that, besides the Skywalkers and the whole things that everyone knows, movies. So it was good to get a little introduction into her, and it was a great start. It made me want to know more and see more.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, I had watched Rebels and Clone Wars. Clone Wars Hot Take is not a good show, but we'll get into that on another time, another day. But I'll just tell you, if 50% of your show is bad, the show is bad. Anyway,
Right.
so yeah, so I did like Clone Wars towards the latter half, and I loved Rebels. Rebels is an amazing show. The fact that you two guys haven't seen it but are still enjoying Ahsoka is kind of a compliment to Rebels itself, because this is essentially the next season of Rebels.
I
So yeah, I'm really excited to talk to you talk to you guys about this. So for me, episodes 1 and 2 were a great start. It was fantastic. I didn't have any like real complaints about the first 2 episodes. I thought that it introduced Ahsoka really well. I thought the thing that it did extremely well is introduce our new adversaries. They're really interesting. They've made their mark, and a lot of times what you'll find is shows are only as good as the villains that are in them. And in this case, these villains have actually been, I don't want to say well fleshed out, but because we're still getting to know them. But so
Mhm.
far, so good. And also got to say shout out to Ray Stevenson, who did pass away, who's playing
Absolutely.
our one of our main adversaries, which actually is obviously that's unfortunate in itself. But what's also unfortunate, not to trivialize that, is that Clancy Brown, who I believe is playing one of the senators, um, would have been a great replacement for Ray Stevenson. Like if that character actually lives past this particular series,
Mhm.
because Clancy Brown, like they don't necessarily look alike, but they both have the gray beard, they both have the raspy voice, and I think that Clancy Brown plays evil really well. So yeah, unfortunate that Clancy Brown's already cast, but I'm really looking forward to seeing where they're going with that character going forward. And but before we get started, let's get to some comments real quick. Just address some of the people who have decided to join us, who we're super grateful for. We have our guy Dylan, who gave us our first like, much appreciated. First Culture on YouTube is still going strong. We love that you've joined us,
Nice.
man. Thank you so much. We also have our guy Zach Attack Reviews,
Zach.
who's giving us,
What's up, Zach?
who's one of our another one of the movie tubers who you'll probably see on future live streams with us. Yeah, and he said Ken out here selling. Yo, man, like when the camera comes on, you know what I'm saying? Like when the spotlight comes on, I'm MJ in the fourth. All right. So it is what it is what it is. Uh, Zach says you guys are epic. Thank you so much, man. Can't wait till you join us on the next time. We got our guy Norn Rad, who I want to shout out because he joined a previous stream of mine, I think a few weeks ago, if not a month. And I was like, Norman Rad, that sounds so familiar. If you guys don't know, that's Silver Surfer's name.
Right. Yep.
Silver
Yep. I was just
Surfer's
about to
real
say.
name. And
Yep.
it was like, that's such a dope name, man. He says, hello, everyone. How are we enjoying the Star Wars content? We're definitely about to get into that. Would love to see your guys' comments in the comment section about how you guys are enjoying it as well. And Norin says, I'm digging it, loving the fact that years of being committed to the animated shows is paying off. I agree. Still I have writing issues with it, but overall really enjoying the show. And he also says, RIP Ray Stevenson, he's perfect for the show. I totally agree on all points. There are some writing things that we'll definitely get into in my negatives, which overall I feel positive about the show, but there are some negatives, and not even negatives, but like questions that I have about the show, about episode 3. So let's just get in right into episode 3. And the first thing we want to talk about is what we enjoyed about it. So, Jason, I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to start with you. What did you enjoy about this episode?
Yeah. So, coming off of the first 2 episodes, definitely was intriguing. Now, going into this one, I wasn't sure what I was going to get, who I was going to see, but it was good to see Sabine and her
Mm-hmm.
training, because what I'm noticing about
Yes.
these shows is that um, it's like they take a little bit of the movies and the lore that we know and love, maybe growing up with or have seen, but then they're giving you moments of um what's the word I'm looking for,
Nostalgia?
where they're nostalgia, but then also like when they're intimacy, because you
Okay.
see Ahsoka and Sabine and that
Mm-hmm.
training that they're doing together. It's like we never really seen Jedi training, like what goes into it. But then once the training started, I forgot the robot's name, but when they're doing the beams of light and she has to slash them, it's like
That was
you hear
actually
the
really cool.
names of the moves. Like this is a martial art that they're doing. And it's
Right.
like, wow, it's like this is a real thing in their world that you can just learn to do, like Taekwondo or Jiu-Jitsu. You know what I mean? So I was really happy to kind of see what Jedi training looks like and what kind of goes into that. And that's one of my points.
Hu Yang is the name of the robot. The
Okay.
droid.
Nice. Okay. And I like him too. Ever since from like the ever since from like episode 1, 2, and 3, just like the quippiness that he has. And he's like, okay, I'm doing this by the books, XYZ. And then, Ahsoka's like, you don't have to do it, everything by the book. But it's like they're giving these droids a lot of personality. And I love that. So they're definitely fleshing out the world that I already know.
The voice actor is actually David Tennant. From
yeah, I knew I recognized that voice. Just didn't.
I thought he sounded familiar.
What is it? Oh gosh, they're going to kill me.
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who from Doctor Who fame,
Yes.
And Jessica Jones, which he was fantastic.
Jessica Jones, right?
Yeah, I never saw Doctor Who. I tried. So yeah, but he's doing a fantastic job. He actually reminds me a lot of the droid that was in Rogue One, with kind of like the sarcasm and like
K2SO.
K2SO, the sarcasm, the playfulness. So I'm really liking the newer droids that are coming, just like you mentioned, Jason. Like they have a lot of person, like of course R2 and C3PO, they all, and Chopper, they all have personality, but I really do enjoy some of the newer droids that we've met.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm curious also, I'm sorry, but I think it's like, are these droids based on people? You know what I mean? Because it's like a C3PO is way different than, the robot that we have now. It's almost like they literally have their own personality. You would think that like a C3PO, all the droids who are like him have the same exact kind of thing, but I don't think that's the case. That's very interesting.
Right. Yeah, I think that like droid culture in Star Wars is very interesting, and just like the way that they're treated as equals in a lot of senses, I actually find it to be really cool how well that they make them to be characters that you can actually be invested in. So Star Wars has always done a good job at that, and I'm glad that to see that they're still doing that. So Jason, did you have anything else for your positives?
Yeah, so again, just reiterating that I haven't seen Rebels or anything that's tying into this, but the fact that the callbacks are there, but they're not intrusive. So like they're always talking about Ezra, right? So I kind of did a little research, and I know that he doesn't make it, at the end of Rebels, but it's like it's not an inside knowledge thing. It's like, okay, you might know this character, you might not, but you do know that she lost him, or there's a connection that they had that is lost. So callbacks aren't intrusive. I love that. And I guess one of my favorite scenes from this was Ahsoka fighting on the wing of the jet.
Woo!
That was amazing. I was like, how is she able to do that? Like, but it's like she's doing all this extreme stuff, and it just keeps everything interesting. Yep.
She put that spacesuit on pretty fast.
She did. I don't know. I don't know.
That's a nitpick, but like she had that thing on quick.
Right. It's like a ripoff suit. Like, let's go. Like, come on.
Right, because like you see, like the ships are still approaching them, about to fire. She's like, "I'll be right back," and then she's out there with the suit on, fully ready to go. Hilarious.
And honestly, that's another thing, because I noticed that they were shooting at the ship. I'm like, there's 3 of y'all. It's like you couldn't blow up the ship.
Right. Yo, stormtroopers
where's the
never
firepower?
change.
I'm like, come on, man.
I'm saving my comments for that for a later part of the show.
Okay. I don't know why
I
the
guess
villains
that's
never
on
have
the
any name.
on the X list.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I guess that's on DJ's bad list. Yeah, I have no idea why the villains never have any aim. They just like we just don't want to kill y'all. We want y'all to last longer. But
Right,
anyway,
like, you know.
yeah. So Jason, those are all your thoughts on your
Yeah,
positives.
that was it. Those are my likes, man. The training, the callbacks weren't intrusive, and
Mm-hmm.
that scene with her on the wing, that was standout for me.
Yeah. All right, DJ, what you got?
I got a little list written down here.
Nice. I took some
First,
notes as well.
love seeing Mon Mothma coming back in this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Always
Yeah.
love to see that character pop up. I think Mary Elizabeth Winstead is doing incredible as Hera. Uh, just
Yes.
shout out to her on this because I ain't seeing enough online people talking about her, but I really like her portrayal there. And I thought the effects in the space battle was really good. We've seen a lot of Star Wars shows where the effects didn't look great, and I thought it actually looked really good for the space battle in this.
Mhm.
Yeah. That was something I was saying about Mandalorian season 3. Like they're spending money now. Like it looks really good. They like just even like the space battles, like you mentioned, everything else. Like you could tell that they're putting some money out there.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recently actually just finished watching Mandalorian season 3, and I was wondering to myself why I waited so long. Because I love season 1 and 2, but I kind of dragged my feet when season 3 came out. But I just finished it maybe like a couple of days ago. Amazing. I
Mhm.
love the stories they're telling.
Yeah, 100%.
I didn't love it as much as the first two seasons, but I didn't
Oh,
understand how much
well,
hate
for
it got
sure.
either. So,
For
yeah.
sure, the first two are definitely the better seasons. But and I guess so. Okay, yeah, I'll save that one.
Yeah.
I'll save that one for
I mean,
my
it was cool getting into some of the lore that was in
Yeah.
season 3. I mean, that was nice.
Yeah.
Another positive I had on this episode was I thought it was really cool seeing the space whales.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Those are cool.
Yeah, man. I kind of lit up when I saw them. I actually was like, space whales, like like 'cause when they showed up in the final few episodes of Rebels, like it was a big thing, and like I love seeing them come back, man. And they look great in live action. They look phenomenal too.
Which show did we get a little tease of them in recently too? Was that Mando 3?
So yep, I was just about to mention
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
So I
Like the
remember
shadow of them. And
yeah, the only reason why I even
Yep.
knew what they were was because of Mando. And it was like they were going through hyperspace and it was like on the side, didn't really see them,
Yeah.
but they were there. Yeah.
see Grogu pop up and look. Yeah.
Hmm.
The last thing I had wrote down was I like that Merrick's story is continuing to be a mystery to us, where we don't know who that is and what's going on with his character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. So yeah, like what was I'm sorry, what was the last thing you just said? I was reading something.
Merrick, the masked dude. I like the mystery of his character.
Yeah, I think that was dope as well. Like I think that they're doing a really good job of designing these characters. Especially the one, I forget her name, but it's the one who escaped. Um Yeah, it was
Morgan.
the Morgan. Yeah, she's been fantastic as a villain. So yeah,
Yep.
I've really enjoyed Morgan as well as like I said, the other two villains as well. Zach. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about the things that I enjoyed as well. So yeah, and I have a list, just like you mentioned.
Nice.
So yeah, off the top, yeah, the training was dope. The training is both a positive and a negative for me, and I'll get to the negatives a little later. But it was just dope to see Ahsoka and Sabine like training together. And I really think that it's cool to see those kind of sequences because, like you mentioned, Jason, it brings like an intimacy to those characters. And also, it kind of shows the stubbornness of Sabine's Mandalorianness, where she's just kind of like hard headed and everything like that. She can be annoying sometimes, but I really enjoy like where that relationship is going, and because of that, it kind of leads to something else that happened in the episode, which I really enjoyed. Was eventually they learned how to work together during that fight. They had to give up like the egos, they had to give up the hardness of it. But yeah, man, like I really enjoyed how they eventually got to the point where they had to learn to trust each other. Like
Mm,
during that fight, like obviously, as slow as those other ships were moving and as slow as they were trying to shoot, and as awful as their aim was, like anyway, I think that's a negative. Um, they still had, Sabine and Ahsoka still really had to like pull it together, because if they didn't, they might have got shot down and it might have been a
right.
wrap for them. There are heroes, so we knew that wouldn't happen. But yeah, I think that the growth of their relationship is going at a positive rate. And speaking at a positive rate, I think that the show's pace is moving along at a positive rate. One of the
Mm,
things that I was kind of miffed by season 3 of Mandalorian, is that it took a long time to get to the point of what we're doing here. This show from the outset is like, look, we're here to find Thrawn, and
yep.
we're here to find Ezra, and we're here to prevent a war. And because of that, the pace of the show is moving. Like we're already at the gigantic warp speed, or not warp speed, but
The ring,
yeah, the giant ring. Like we're
hyperspace
already
ring.
there.
Yeah,
The hyperspace ring. Thank you
yeah.
so much. We're already at the hyperspace ring. We're already finding out that Morgan needs one more piece to complete this ship, or it's a wrap.
Mm,
You know what I mean? So and or they're trying to travel across space. We're already being given some more lore in the fact that there's other universes where they're trying to get to from point A to point B, and that's why they're building this ship. And Mando season 3, unfortunately, it took us so long to get to the point where, well, I'm no spoilers for Mando season 3. I will hope everybody's seen it, but it took us a long time to get to where they were trying to take us in Mando season 3.
yeah.
And right now we have the motivations for every single character, and now we're just moving forward. And I think that that really helps. And not only that, a lot of shows, that beef that's between Ahsoka and Sabine, that would be all 6 episodes, all the way up until episode 7, when they finally decide to put their differences aside. I'm so glad that they're getting to that point earlier in the show, because
Right.
that is something that could be that's something that unfortunately a lot of shows and movies drag on for way too long, and I'm glad that they're getting to that. And it should be easy to believe that their relationship would mend as quickly as it has, because of how fast Sabine's stab to the stomach mended. So I think that anything that she does
I'm sorry,
can
that's not
mend
funny.
pretty quick based on what we've seen. Because apparently she could just take a stab to the stomach and keep it moving. So
Yeah.
we're being given a lot of themes, as in quick healing is another thing that we're going to get to.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Well,
uh,
well, you know what,
That's
Ken?
got
I will say, like, if I got stabbed through the stomach, I'd be recalculating a lot of stuff about my life, especially if I
right, yeah.
survived that.
Yeah,
I'm like,
even if I
listen,
did
man.
feel good, even if
'Cause
if I heal, I'm like, no, I'm out for 3 to 5 business days. We out here, like, like I'm not coming
honestly,
back to work.
that's where you see the turn. It's like
Hmm.
because well, a little bit before that, but it was like once she got stabbed, that's when she started like taking Jedi and training. Like she sought that out. Like she started down that road. So wow.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, let's get to some of these comments. We have from Zach Attack Reviews. It might be Ezra or Star Killer. Um, Zach, I'm not entirely sure
I think
what you
that
mean.
probably popped in right after talking about that Merrick and wondering who he is under the mask thing. I've seen some
Oh,
Oh my
you
some
think
goodness.
comments
so?
before on that.
Oh my God,
Okay,
that would blow my mind.
yeah. If
What
that's
the
Ezra,
heck?
and you know what's interesting about that is do we believe that Ezra and Thrawn are in the same place, just like hanging out together? Because you guys hadn't seen the end of Rebels, so essentially, you guys want me to tell you about it? So
Yeah, so I've
they
seen
okay,
snippets of
gotcha. So at the end of Rebels, they pretty much went on the space whale trip together. So they were pretty much like hand in hand, arm in arm, and they went off and they took off across space. So the assumption is that they died together until the show
Mm,
came up. I mean, we've always assumed like maybe they're still alive because until you see a body burnt and dismembered, like no
right,
one's
right.
really dead. You know.
Yeah. Well,
So yeah,
Darth Vader,
I
he was
mean,
burned
he
and
was
dismembered,
well,
but
yeah,
he
he was burnt and dismembered. Yeah, but I mean, they put Humpty Dumpty back together again.
they sure
So,
they sure did.
and we did see that.
I
Go
really
ahead,
like
DJ.
that Star Killer idea, though. They
Yeah,
bring him up from the games and get Sam Witwer in there. Like that would be cool.
that would be really interesting, and I think that they're going to do that eventually. Have you guys seen the not the voice actor, the actor who they modeled him off of, the guy from the games?
No.
Sam,
Oh yes, yes. From
Sam.
the
Yeah.
right, right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, but he looks exactly like him, so much so that he could just come right into the show,
Mm,
right into a show, into live action.
right.
But so with that being said, I forget where I was going. Pardon me, guys. I have ADHD. Sometimes these
oh no,
these
no. We were
these
talking
thoughts
about
flash. Yeah.
the mask dude. It could have
Oh
been
yeah, yeah. Master.
Ezra or
Yep.
Star Killer.
Hmm. Yeah. So, oh yeah, that's what I was saying. Do we think that they're coming back together, or that they kind of like pieced out and went their separate ways after they took their little whale trip?
DJ?
I don't know. I would assume the direction they look like they're going in this show that they're going to wind up being together,
Yeah.
or something. The
So I
paths are going to
mean,
cross in some way or another.
Mm,
right. I mean, because what I'm seeing now is just like I assume that they're in separate places right now, you
yeah.
know. But then,
I'm
those
kind of
twists and turns, once those twists and turns, episode 4 or 5 happen,
right.
who knows if Ezra was like being trained by him or something, you know what I mean? And becomes like way different than what we see on that hologram that she keeps looking at. So
Yeah, and I think that I don't know if like anything could happen in Star Wars. I don't know if he'll be trained by Thrawn because he was trying to take that man out.
right.
But
He said they're way past that point.
yeah, yeah. But I do think that more than likely they'll show up in a separate situation. Because to keep them together and to say, hey, we think Thrawn is back, it would be really interesting to think that Thrawn is back when Ezra's standing right there with him. So I'm not really sure how that's going to play out. But yeah, so we also have Dylan here who says had to drop in and out, had to drop in and drop a line for the big cousin, wishing success and luck on the stream, dudes. Well, thank you so much, Dylan, man. Thanks for
Uh,
stopping by.
yeah,
Uh, it-
that's my family there.
hey, any family DJ is a family of ours, man. We love
Shouts
to,
to
He's
the
more like a
love to
family.
little
see
brother
it.
than a cousin to me, but yeah,
Yeah,
good
that's
guy.
what's up, man. Then we have Mio 91. That's my wife. That's just Melanie. I yeah.
Getting all
So
the
she's
family
just
in here right now.
yeah, all the family time. Yep. So all right, so let's get to our negatives, man. I think that what I'll do is I'll actually start with this one. We'll just go in like reverse order. Um, you all right, DJ?
Yep. I'm just
Oh,
dropping
DJ,
stuff and getting out all 6 of my pages.
DJ got the notebook out.
No, I'm just kidding. That's all right.
All right, yeah. So negatives. So like I said, the training has positives because I love the fact that they're doing that together and they're having like that relationship and stuff like that. The part of the training that I find as a negative is this the first time that they're training together? Because from what we've been told or what we've been led to believe, uh Sabine was Ahsoka's Padawan. But now that they're training, it seems like Sabine has never trained a day in her life and has no idea anything about the Force, anything about like trying to doing the exact same kind of training with like her eyes covered that like Luke and so many other Jedi have done. It just seems like, so what did y'all talk about during your previous training if y'all trained together previously? Like it, none of the training seems to have stuck, or maybe she forgot everything, but it just seems really weird that yeah, you were my former master. I don't know anything about the Force though, and I don't know anything about fighting without my sight or anything. It was just a really weird. Um, it was just a really weird detail that I thought would what I thought didn't really fit what they've been telling us so far. What did you guys think about that?
Oh, so I mean, Ken, I just had a question.
Yeah.
As someone who watched Rebels, was
Mhm.
there any training in that? Like was she actually a Padawan in that show? Because
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think so, and I don't remember. Like it's been a while
okay,
since I've seen the show, but I know that the same reaction a lot of people had when they watched the trailer for Ahsoka is the same exact one I had when they made it really dramatic during the trailer, and Sabine was saying something. It's like, "Well, you abandoned me, master." Like
mm,
all that happened. I'm like, "What? Wait, when did
mm,
this happen?" And so many Star Wars people were asking the same question of when
uh,
did this take place? I don't recall that being a thing, but I was excited to see it because it's a new wrinkle for the show, you know.
right.
So but yeah, but now that we stepped into the show, it honestly seems like Sabine was never trained at any point. It just seemed like she was Padawan in name only. So I don't know. That's a good question. I don't recall there ever being training between or any kind of like force sensitiveness, which is another one of my negatives with Sabine. But yeah, I just yeah.
I mean, honestly, in just talking about your dislike about the training, I mean, because you bring up a very good point, and it's like if she even started training with her, she would have the concepts of
Right.
okay, force and without sight. That makes perfect sense. She did say that. Um, she did say that it was a long time. So just from a viewer, from the outsider looking in, I was just taking that as standard. It
Yeah.
was too long ago, and she forgot stuff. Yeah,
And I considered that, but I kind of felt like, okay, so if it was a long time ago, sure, like you'd be rusty. But to not know any concepts at all
at
just
all.
kind of
Yeah,
seemed
that is
like,
a little weird.
because those were like day one things. Like day one
Right,
of Luke's training was blindfold on, getting shot by the ball thing. You know what I mean? So he was getting shot at day one during his training. So
It
right.
I did,
almost
yeah,
felt like they were trying to throw that nostalgia at us and say, "Hey, remember when Luke did this?" And
right,
put that on
yeah.
us
Right.
for
Just to do it, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and that
kind of
could
how it felt
work
to me.
for sure. Yeah, it did feel nostalgic, which is dope. But and that could work for sure. But you don't have to make it seem like Sabine just forgot everything
Right,
that she
because
ever knew.
because now
Yeah,
you're crapping on her experience, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Basically,
So,
you're saying that you just didn't listen, which is Sabine's nature, but you just didn't listen like at all.
she definitely acted like it was brand new to her, putting that
Yeah,
on
yeah,
and doing
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I mean, they definitely could have just gone and said, she could have made a comment, I'm feeling a
hmm
little rusty on this or something, but instead it
Right.
really felt like it was brand new to her, and that,
Mm.
yeah. It's
I
very
don't know.
very strange. So for number, I'm gonna move through these quickly. Number two was Ahsoka says that talent is the reason some don't use the Force. Does that mean? And I wrote down. Does that mean that anyone could potentially be a Force user? Because what it sounded like to me was okay. So Sabine was never Force sensitive, and Ahsoka just said, "Yo, I'm gonna train you because I like you. You could be good at this, maybe. Because it doesn't come off as though, yeah, you had a lot of force sensitivity. I see
Mhm.
potential in you because of that. It's like, look, like the force isn't everything, so maybe we could." rise it out of you? I don't know.
Yeah.
So
And she kept saying like start small.
yeah.
I'm like,
She
you should
got
know this. Yeah.
Yeah. And we know like Ahsoka doesn't she doesn't jive with a lot of the old Jedi training kind of things. But
Mhm.
at the same time, just like the our droid guy was saying, like there are certain standards that were set for a reason of why or of what kind of student would be good to come in here. And then we know that that has been broken several times with
Mhm.
Anakin and Luke and everyone else. But
For
the
sure.
difference is they had midichlorians. No, I'm joking. But the
Oh.
difference is they had like force sensitivity. Like you could tell already
Mhm.
that there was something there, and they also had a prophecy to back them up. So they
Right.
kind of got a free pass into the Jedi Academy and into the Jedi situation. So, but with Sabine, it really comes off as you're the closest person next to me. Um, maybe I could teach you how to use the Force. There doesn't seem to be any kind of reasoning for Sabine to have learned or Sabine to be training in the Force. I mean, she's already a
Mm.
Mandalorian. A Mandalorian Jedi sounds amazing. It sounds
That's
dope. Um,
double trouble.
yeah, absolutely. She already wants to fight everybody. She's already stubborn, and now she has the Force. So
Right.
yeah, and then Ahsoka mentioned as much when she said, "Yeah, like you being a Mandalorian, naturally you can fight, like you got that in you, but that's not enough." Perfectly fine. I would have thought that that was a day one conversation, not a day whatever this is conversation. Um, yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, I also have written down Sabine was never a good candidate. Um, Ahsoka is trying to turn water into wine. So that's something else
Mm.
I wrote down. So that's basically yeah, she wouldn't have been accepted to the Jedi Temple. Which is fine because there are several Jedi's who have showed up who wouldn't have been accepted to the Jedi. They said Grogu wasn't allowed.
Right.
Ahsoka was the one who said, "Hey, I don't want to train Grogu because I think that he's well past his time of being trained and stuff like that." So, yeah, that was all. That was all of my negatives. I did have Ahsoka put on that suit fast as hell, but that's not really a negative, more so than a funny TV show thing. Because we've seen that all the time. The characters
Oh yeah.
get in and out of. If you watch superhero movies, you have no right to complain about how fast someone gets in and out of a suit.
That is true.
But yeah, but yeah. DJ, what did you think? What were your negatives?
Well, on that particular spot of it,
Hmm.
I don't think it would have bothered me so much until there was something about that seemed really uncanny when that last little part when she's just like floating in front of the window,
Yeah.
and so I was just like, this is getting a little Fast and the Furious here on the
Mm,
ridiculousness. But I mean, overall, it was still pretty cool. It's just
yeah.
I don't know, something about that was just like, ooh, I don't know. But most of my what issues I did have, and there wasn't really a lot, came from Sabine.
Mm,
I'm not finding her character to be real likable so far myself. Maybe that's
Mm.
because I didn't watch a lot of Rebels,
yeah.
so it didn't transfer over to me. Now there are moments I've liked with her, but
Hmm.
I don't know. To me, she kind of reminds me of the Clone Wars movie cartoon Ahsoka. Like I
Okay.
hated
Okay.
Ahsoka
Early
in that
Ahsoka.
particular spot,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
she's kind of reminded me attitude wise of that version of Ahsoka.
I see.
And then also, I kind of wonder if she was actually a Mandalorian or if she was a stormtrooper because she can't hit nothing either.
Yeah, yo, when she was shooting out, she couldn't hit a damn thing. Like it was just like, what? Where are y'all getting these blasters? I think their blasters are tainted.
So I guess
It's
what it
It
is.
has to be the blasters because at this
something in the
point,
crystal or like it's slightly bent.
yeah,
They don't
something's got
shoot
to be good.
straight, man.
Yeah, they must be getting their blasters from Acme, from back in back in the
Yeah, that last part was a little
back
joke,
in the
but still, I
yeah
mean, it was just odd that she was missing so much there.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah. So was that everything that you had?
uh, really, the only other gripe I would have would be episode length.
Are you
How
too
how it
short or
keeps
too
getting
long?
shorter. Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, you know what? Disney Plus shows seem to be doing that. I remember like Secret Invasion episode one was like an hour, and then it just kept getting shorter and shorter, and then the
Uh,
finale was like a half hour, if
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So, and then if you include like if you take out the credits and the last time on Ahsoka,
Yeah.
like if you take that out, these
right.
episodes are super short. What about you, Jason? What negatives did
Yeah,
you have?
no, I think for my first one, I have to piggyback off of DJ because it was like, well, so let me just say the scenes with Hera, and for all that don't know, it's the green woman with the
Mhm.
I don't even know what those are. I'm gonna tentacles. I don't even know what those are, man. But the episodes, I felt like because this one was shorter, when I saw her on the screen, I felt like it could have been saved for like another episode. So like what I've seen
Yeah.
in Mandalorian, and I love this, was and just this is just an example of when they had the episode with the doctor who was going through the training program of rehabilitating himself, right? But that episode was mainly focused on him and trying to, continue his cloning studies, XYZ, right? They could have done something like that with Hera, because later in the episode where she's a hologram in their ship, she said, "I can't come with you, the order that we could have had a whole episode of what she was doing, you know, before that point, why she couldn't go, and then got into just Sabine, Ahsoka, whoever else, on their mission to do their thing. But
Yeah.
having her kind of inserted in this episode, I felt like it was a waste of time. And I'm hesitant when I say that because I do like Hera, but I felt like I wanted to get back to what Sabine and Ahsoka were doing. And I was hoping to get a little bit more training, whatever else we could have gotten, more action scenes maybe. But yeah, the scenes with Hera, although I know it sheds light on things, I wasn't really feeling it too hot. And lastly, I will say, I feel like Shin's being underutilized right now. Now, later she could be, doing more. I don't know, but for some reason, it's like Shin, and I'm sorry, I forgot the name of the guy that she's following or like training under. But I like their scenes, right? And it's showing that she's like the action and all of that, but she just seems angry, one-dimensional right now. Hopefully it changes, but right now it just seems like she's just angry, just wants to follow orders, and that's all we're getting from her right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't disagree. I do like her character a lot. I like the
yeah,
character
I mean,
design.
I'm
Yeah,
happy to learn
but
more. Yeah,
absolutely, and I think that's exactly what you're saying. We should be learning more about her and not her just being pouty kill face all the time. Like what is her motivation? Like what's going on there?
right.
And then that actually, if you don't mind, like that actually brings up another negative that I forgot about, which is what is Ray Stevenson's character's name is Balin Skull. It's a cool ass name.
Oh yes,
What
that's
is
the guy she's with. Yeah.
yeah? He's just standing there. 90%, like 3 episodes of him just standing. Hey, go do this. Hey, go. Go recruit that. Go kill them. Like, and then they come back to him, and the next time you see him, he's telling someone else to go do something. What is he doing? Like,
Right.
what does he do all day? Is he just like standing there? He has a
Right.
lightsaber. I've seen him use it. Like the only time
Mhm.
I've seen him use it is the very first episode. When he
When they're breaking
mur-
out Morgan.
yeah, when he took all those people out and rescued Morgan, right? So I don't know what he's doing 90% of the time. He seems to just be telling Shin to just go do stuff. Now
He must
Shin,
have
I
been a
think
supervisor at a factory at some point.
Yep. He's a
basically
manager.
He's got it figured out.
our guy Dooku was more hands-on than him. Like he was like hop in the bed on so I only say that because he reminds me of Dooku a little bit.
Mm.
but yeah, so I want like the end of the episode is Balin saying, "Hey, the Jedi are in the woods over there. Go get them." I'm like, why don't you go get them? Like,
Yeah.
you think that they can take out Ahsoka and Sabine by themselves? I don't think so. Are you
Yeah.
like it's as if he has no idea who Ahsoka is, and I'm pretty sure that he does. So I don't understand what the problem is there.
And you know what, Ken? Just to piggyback off that, I think we're gonna
Mhm.
see a little bit more of his motivations later.
Yeah,
Because
but I
right
hope that they
now,
come up quickly. Yeah,
it's like right now, Balin and Shin, they're just there. They're just foot soldiers for Morgan.
yeah,
But I from their interactions, it just seems like it's like Balin is only doing this for an end. We just don't know what that end is yet.
yeah.
You
So
know,
far
it's like
they've
he's too
yeah.
powerful just to be following orders like that. I don't know, man.
So far they've kind of shown just to be like a mercenary,
Right,
which
like
is
a hired
fine. I
gun.
mean, yeah, which is fine because what do you do after the empire has fallen and you're another force wielder who's on the dark side, like, and the
Mm,
emperor is supposedly dead,
right.
but somehow Palpatine returns later on. Um, so like what do you do if you're in that situation? Yeah, so with that, I don't really know what Balin's end is. I know that we'll find out. But yeah, so with that being said, let's get into some of these comments. And yeah. All right. So first we have Curl Peace. Good show. I agree. I think that it is a good show, unless you're talking about this show, which I even more appreciate. Thank you so much. But yeah, I do want to say, despite all the negatives that we just talked about, I'm enjoying the hell out of this show.
Oh, for
Um, I
sure.
don't I don't even think I've emphasized enough how much I love that space battle, especially towards the end when Ahsoka is out there, like out in space, like knocking out those ships that are coming towards her. I mean, that was cool as hell. Like I don't think I've seen that before in live action.
Mm,
In live action, a live action Jedi do that. So I was really entertained by that, and even like you mentioned, Jason, like going down with the space whales on the planet and all that stuff. Like all that was fun. But yeah, I agree. It's a good show.
awesome.
Yeah. Zach says, movies and shows do that all the time, and it irks me. People are family and history, but have convos that feel like they should have had already.
Mm,
Totally agree. Totally agree. It's like, yeah, it's almost as if like the writers are trying to hold our hands through this. And like, you
right.
don't need to do that. We've been in this Star Wars game for a long time, and even if someone's new to it, I mean, I think that context clues really helps these situations. Yeah. Zach says the show's okay so far. I honestly could see people going either way on this show. I can
Mm,
see people
mhm.
really like not enjoying it, and I can see people having a blast with it or being in the middle, like Zach is.
Yep.
Zach also says, as a person who hasn't seen Rebels, there's a lot lost there for me. That's interesting. That's interesting. I'm wondering like how people are feeling who haven't seen Rebels. I know you two haven't seen Rebels. I've seen it, but it was a minute ago. By the way, like I said before, watch the show is really good.
That's what I
Yeah,
keep hearing, man. I gotta
yeah,
check that out.
it's way better than Clone Wars, but that's
Okay.
that I don't think that's a unpopular opinion, but I think the way better might be because Clone
Mm,
Wars is not a good show.
okay.
Um, half the show is good. The other half is
Tell
Jar
them how
Jar
you really
Binks
feel, Ken.
and droid episodes. And I have no use for Jar Jar Binks and droid episodes. And there's a lot of them. Anyway,
Wow.
Coral P says, LOL meant y'all show. Well, thank you, man. Or
That's
ma'am, whichever one you
that's my
um
mom.
hey girl.
Thank you.
Oh, DJ's mom.
Uh huh.
Mama
That's
Minute.
what's up. Mama Minutes. Yes.
She done messaged me and told me I didn't call her out the first time you read her, so I had to say something.
Oh man. Well, yeah. Great. We love. This is a family show.
Yeah.
So now that we know that Mama Minutes is in the chat, we'll keep the cursing to a minimum.
I think we've been doing good so far.
Anyone, yeah.
We're okay.
But yeah, so now that we've talked about our goods and talked about our bads, let's talk about some predictions for the rest of the show. So my first question for you guys is probably the question that's on everybody's mind. When do y'all think Thrawn is showing up?
Listen, man. So even since I first heard about Thrawn, I did research on him from Legends, Rebels, all of that. I hope we get him sooner than later. That's all I need. Because I just want to know who this guy is. I want to see him in action. If I had to take a guess, what is this, episode 3? How many episodes are there, by the way? I'm sorry, guys. Do you know?
I believe there's 8.
I think that's right.
We're 3 in?
Yeah.
Maybe in the next 2?
Yeah.
Either we're going to see Ezra or Thrawn in the next couple of episodes. I just hope it's not like a cliffhanger situation or, episode 7 into 8, and then he does a little bit and then vanishes again. I want to see him in action. I want to see what the live action version of him would be. He's a very interesting character since I learned about him.
Yeah. DJ, what do you think?
I think by the end of next episode, we're going to get a glimpse of his head, the back of his head, right before the episode ends or something like that.
Okay.
5 or so.
That would be cool. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think that he's going to show up in probably episode 5. That's a strong guess, but I think next episode will be all about Sabine and Ahsoka trying to escape the people that Balin refuses to go after himself. As well as like setting up the rest of the warp drive ring thing.
Right.
I forget what it's called, but yeah, I think it's going to be setting up the rest of that. And also, I feel like some time is going to be dedicated to Hera and Chopper and them pretty much disobeying Mon Mothma and the crew. And honestly, I think Mon Mothma will probably be behind her disobeying them, knowing Mon Mothma the way we do. So yeah, so basically, yes, I think that it'll be episode 5 because I got to be honest with you. I think that any later than episode 5, I think a lot of fans are going to be disappointed because they sold this show on Thrawn from the very first trailer, and now, actually, they've been selling that since Mandalorian. I want to say season 2. They've been selling this Thrawn. So if you wait until episode 7 or 8 and we see a glimpse of them and that's it, I think that that's going to be really disappointing. And I would hope that they know that already.
Well, I mean, I've hoped that for a lot of Disney Plus shows.
I agree. Totally agree. And the thing is, like, the blue makeup, the blue paint, I don't think it costs that much. So it's not like it's a CGI issue where, he can't show up because it costs so much damn money. I don't think that that's going to be the case at all. You guys need to bring him in. Yeah.
Even if they did practical, what is that? A half hour in the chair?
Oh, no.
Red contacts? I mean...
No, not a half hour. They spend hours in those makeup chairs.
I know that
full skin thing. Yeah.
Right. So I know that like going back to X-Men and specifically Blue, we're talking about like Nightcrawler and Mystique, right?
Yeah.
So I know she was sitting in there for hours, and even Gamora. We're talking about like makeup, hours and hours. But like for a Thrawn, because he looks like a man. He looks like a regular man with blue skin.
He does look like Nicholson.
How hard that was,
with red eyes, which was honestly a great casting choice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I feel like if he's in I think episode 5 would be a great spot for him to be. because if he's in episode 6, I don't think it'll be too bad. But also, I think that these things also depend on the length of the episodes. Because if the episodes continue to get shorter and then you introduce them towards the end, I think that's going to be a bad situation, basically.
I agree.
Yeah. And but also, let me also add this as well. You're not just reintroducing Thrawn, you're reintroducing Ezra. So you have
Right.
to have scenes of embrace and all the other good stuff with Ezra, and then you have to have the scenes with Thrawn. So you're not just bringing back one person; you're bringing back two. People just love Thrawn, so that's why we talk about him more. But although Ezra's my favorite character from Rebels,
Mm.
so yeah, so that's it. So um, in terms of future predictions, do you guys have any other predictions?
Well, do we think that they're going to cut away for 2 episodes and show us Mando and Grogu at some point, and not show anything from Ahsoka like they did in Boba Fett?
Oh God, I hope
No,
not.
so I mean,
Oh God.
no, that was a
Although
great point that you brought up. That's a
Although
great
cutting away
point.
from Boba Fett was a great idea because I was bored. I despise that show. So giving us Mando in the middle of that saved my experience because I was bored to tears. He
Yeah,
was supposed to
Cam.
be a gangster, and he was flopping around everywhere. He's supposed to be this feared guy, and then
I mean,
he's like, I don't
yeah.
know how to handle business. How many times can he take off and put back on his helmet? Like how many times can he do
And say,
this
"I am
in the
Boba
course
Fett."
of the show? And I am Boba Fett. Like it's
He was like, I gotta get paid for my face, man. Come on, man. I'm getting paid
right.
by
And
the
then
view.
yeah, and so he says,
There
I
we
am Boba
go.
Fett.
There we go.
Hey, see, that's what we want to see. We want to see Grogu.
I mean, I actually,
DJ, cover up your face.
I don't want to get off topic, but I actually like Boba Fett.
Really?
I know. Maybe you
Hot
know what it
take.
is. You know what I like. You know what I think because of the whole. I call it the Mandalorian verse. The way
Mm-hmm.
that the shows are set up, episodic, and that is like
Yeah.
a mini story within an episode. So maybe that's the flow I like.
Yeah.
Because really my questions watching these shows and like uh the question is like, where are they now? We've
Right.
seen Boba Fett. I knew almost nothing of him in the original trilogy, right? But then being able to see him in a show, what has he been doing, XYZ? They could say whatever, they could make up anything.
Yeah.
But I was eating it up because I was like, the lore. It was like a lore grab for me. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, what is he doing? Oh, he's fighting with a stick now, and how does he do that? The Sand People, the interaction with him and the Sand People were some of my favorite, episodes. It was like almost a redemption story. So,
Very dances with
sorry to go on that little rant,
Very
but
much.
yeah,
Yeah. I think there's definitely some positives to Book of Boba Fett, but the negatives way outweighed it. Um, I think that would have saved what for me would have saved the show was if they told it in a linear fashion. Them going back and forth to these flashbacks, it really
oh,
didn't
right,
work for me. And they spent so
okay,
much time in a flashback when they were saying the present was so important that it just felt disjointed a lot of times. And then as soon as it starts to catch some sort of steam, they cut away to Mando and Grogu, which was
Mm,
just like what's happening. And then I mean, I know it's been said, but the colorful punk kids space Vespas. Like,
oh,
I'm not going to say it doesn't feel like Star Wars because I think
ooh,
Star Wars can be a lot of different things, but it got me close to saying that,
mm,
But yeah, so that was kind of my beef with Book of Boba Fett was that the trailer promised a hardened gangster who's going to take over this town, and the show gave us a guy who was literally flopping all over the place, and everybody looking him in the face and saying, "I don't give a damn who you are. I don't know you. What are you
mm,
doing here? You climbed yourself
Couldn't win a fight.
couldn't win a fight." Like this, but he could win fights back to back to back in the Mandalorian season
Yeah.
2.
right,
So what happened
right.
to that
Okay, I
guy?
can see that. Yeah,
So yeah. Anyway,
still
back to
enjoyed it.
predictions. Yeah.
I love the flopping.
Yeah. Well, look, I will say this. my show is called See for Yourself, and the entire premise of the show is watch what you want, or the entire premise is I'm going to give you my opinion about what I think about a particular thing, but I still want you to go out and make your own opinion about whatever it is that you're watching. In other words, see for yourself, make up your own mind. I would hate for you to not enjoy something because I didn't enjoy it, right? That would suck. What if you see something and then you're super inspired by it, but you don't, or you would have been, but you don't see it because I say that I didn't like it. You know what I mean? I would hate for that to happen to you. And also, if you enjoy Lion King 1.5, that's not like that's okay. I don't. I think it's the worst movie of
Yeah.
the franchise, but I
Why
still
they
want you
do it?
to enjoy the things that you enjoy. That's a shout at my man Zach
We
Attack
never would have got
Reviews.
Dig a Tunnel if we hadn't had that movie.
First of all, Dig a Tunnel is the only good scene in that movie. Um, yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, other predictions that I have, I think that eventually Balin's going to do something. That's a prediction I'm 100% sure on. But no, I believe that we're going to see the Witches of Dathomir um, from Clone Wars because Morgan is, I think, a descendant of them, and it's going to be really fun to
They kind of
see.
emphasize that a little bit too.
Right, and it was really cool because that's some lore. That's definitely some Clone Wars lore that I would love to be explored.
Hmm.
I forget what the Sith character from the Witches of Dothamir's name was, but I don't think she's dead. So maybe she shows up. I don't think she's dead. I don't think she died. Um, but yeah, so maybe she shows up. Who knows? But yeah, so I'm assuming that they are going to complete the machine to get from one part of the space to the other because the bad guys usually complete the machine, and then
Mm.
the good guys have to figure out a way to stop it. And also, I think that we are eventually going to get um, a huge. I think eventually we're going to get a huge death in this show. I think one of the main rebels characters are going to catch it.
Hmm.
I'm not sure who. I hope it's no one, but I think that someone's going to catch it. And I'm also waiting for. There's one other character from Rebels who hasn't shown up yet, and it's Zeb Aurelius. Like he hasn't shown up yet, and I'm wondering when he's coming into the picture because he was actually in Mandalorian season 3, just like as a background character, but he was there. So
Mm.
I'm wondering when that is going to um, take place, when he's going to show up. But yeah, so those are kind of my predictions. I think Thrawn's coming in episode 5. I think Ezra's coming right along with him in episode 5. I think Ezra and Thrawn are not together. I think they went their separate ways, some way, shape, or form. I think one of the main Rebels cast is going to catch it or going to die. And I think that the next episode we won't see Thrawn or Ezra. It'll be all about making sure that this machine doesn't trying to stop this machine. It does get built, and as well as spending a lot of time with, uh, uh, gosh, what is her name? Uh, Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character, whose name I am forgetting some
Oh,
way
Hera.
somehow. Hera. I think we spend a lot of time with Hera. Yep.
Okay.
Hmm. I mean, I guess I'll go next, but I did have a question. So, is the reason why they're building the ring to
Mhm.
get to the outer rim or something, or is that something completely separate?
No, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to get to the other edge of the galaxy really quick, or to another galaxy actually,
Hmm.
because the space whales are like they can travel through dimensions, I believe, and they can also travel through like just different galaxies really quickly. That's how Ezra and Thrawn ended up wherever it is that they are.
Okay.
They were like basically fighting on the back of a space whale, or they and they ended up uh, being shipped out. basically. So yeah, so they're trying to build that ring to get to that other edge of the galaxy to
I see.
bring Thrawn back.
Is there a
Gotcha.
I wonder. I'm not sure on this stuff either.
Hmm.
Precisely. Is there a reason for the shape? Like why it would
Why a
be?
ring?
Why not a ship?
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. Well, I do recall like in episode 2 or 3, Star Wars episode 2 or 3, not Ahsoka episode 2 or 3, Attack of the Clones, that Obi Wan used a similar type ring um, to go warp speed to Camino, to like the rain planet where all the clones were. So I think
Mhm.
it's like a regular. I think it's like an exaggerated size of one of those regular like warp speed type of devices that they can just put on a smaller ship. Because
Okay.
yeah, we've seen that before for sure. But it's
I'm
just
not read up on the lore
gigantic.
on that stuff, so I wasn't quite sure why we needed a Halo ring to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Halo. Wow, you
yeah,
brought me back.
mhm. Yeah. So yeah, guys, go ahead,
Oh,
Jason.
sorry. I didn't give my expectations, but what I am so Thrawn was we already covered that, right?
Yep.
Him. But I think we're gonna see Anakin
In a flashback or
or
Force Ghost.
Or Force Ghost.
Force Ghost.
Yeah,
I
I
think we're
think
gonna
that.
see Anakin only because um well, Hayden Christensen is on the, IMDb, but that's besides the point. It's because Ahsoka's training Sabine, she's gonna have a lot of issues. Ahsoka, I'm speaking of, she's gonna have a lot of issues with maybe dealing with, my Padawan's not getting it quickly enough, or she's not whatever. Have an issue that she doesn't know how to solve or how to help her, and then maybe that's when she calls on her teacher, and then we see Force Anakin. That's
Yeah,
my guess.
yeah, I think that's a good guess. I definitely think that that's possible. And also, like you said, he's on the IMDb, so more than likely it's going to happen.
You know,
And
but
yeah,
luckily we don't know how he's gonna show. You know what I mean? I don't want. Yeah,
right,
yeah.
yeah, and that's why. So I agree with you because I know I saw some trailers. I know I saw that there are trailers with Anakin being a part of it. I didn't watch those trailers because I didn't want any more information
Mhm.
because they put out like 43 trailers in a week leading up to the show. And I was like,
Yeah,
look, I
I
don't
haven't
need to
really
know
seen
all
any
this.
trailers. Yeah,
I'm going to watch the show.
yeah.
So leave me alone. So, um, so yeah. Did you have anything else, Jason?
No, those were the only two. Thrawn and we're gonna see Anakin at some point.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. I think for me, unless you guys had anything else to add, does anyone have anything else to add at the moment?
Uh, I'll say I do think one of those senators is going to wind up being bad. That
I
they're
think
talking to.
the male senator who she was talking to, the
Yep.
Asian gentleman, I
Yeah,
think that he's working for Throne.
I could see that.
Listen,
Yeah.
if you give someone a side eye that long, they're evil, dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
They're up
do
to no
think Harry's
good.
going to be taking a a platoon of people without permission for sure to
Mm.
come
Mhm.
help at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. Similar to episode 9 when Lando and all them showed up to the Palpatine who somehow returned.
Yeah, yeah. Let's
Yeah. All right, but yeah, before we go, let's hit up some of these comments.
go.
All right, so we have Jason Entertainment. My God, Jason Entertainment, great channel. I want you guys to check out his channel. Um, he he recently did he recently did his Blue Beetle review. He's recently done, I believe, his Gran Turismo review. He's also put out his movies that he's looking forward to for the rest of the year. A couple weeks ago, I want you guys to go check that out. He has a lot of great stuff for you guys to check out. So Jason Entertainment says, da, da, da. He says, "Hey Ken, how are y'all doing? How you doing, bro? Yo, what's up, Jason? I'm going to watch the third episode of Ahsoka shortly. Don't know if you like this show and if you watch Rebels. Oh yeah, I'm really enjoying this show, and I did watch Rebels, which is probably one of the best Star Wars products that have ever come out. Um, and Jason also said, glad to see screens and reviews and movie time minutes. I'm
What's up,
actually,
man?
I don't know if you know Jason, but this is their first ever stream. I think they're killing it. I think they're doing a great job.
Thank
I
you.
really want you guys to subscribe to their channels. These guys are great channels. I know that Jason just hit 100 subscribers very recently, so
Thank
he's
you
on
all.
his
Thank
way.
you.
I,
Yeah.
I know DJ's fastly approaching this, and I hope that after this stream, he gets right to that 100 piece, and we can celebrate with him as well. So
Yep.
yeah, I want you guys to go check out those. I know DJ, you just recently put out your review for was it No Hard Not No Hard Feelings, right?
I just did a no hard feelings review of that. Yeah, and I've got.
Yo, Spoiler Kings. Hey, what's up, y'all?
Oh, they're here. Oh, nice.
Cool.
Yeah, and yeah, so glad to have these guys on. Yeah, and Jason, I know that you put out your review for Blue Beetle as well,
Yes.
and you've recently put out some dope shorts. And I'm yeah, Jason's channel is really dope. I want you guys to check it out. He also has a really dope aesthetic because you guys put out not you guys, you used to do graphic design. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I did a little bit, not it was computer arts in college
Computer
a little
arts, yeah,
bit. So I dabbled.
yeah,
So
and
the
you could
design and
tell.
the graphics and stuff like that, I'm throwing the graphics in there, try to keep
Mhm.
it entertaining for you all. But yes, I've done that for a couple of years.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to more comments. Jason Entertainment says, "Hot take: Star Wars Rebels is the best Star Wars animated show, without a doubt. Like, there's
Mm,
no competition in my mind, and I don't even think that's a hot take. I think that is the take because I'm going to say it again.
I got to see
Clone
the
Wars
show, man.
is not a good show. But yeah, so yeah, and we have Spoiler Kings who says, "Hey, what's up, everyone? Yo, what's up, Spoiler Kings? So glad to see y'all joined us. These guys are fantastic. I want you guys to subscribe to their channel as well. They actually just crossed the 1K mark not a couple months ago, and they're also doing Ahsoka live streams as well. And they did a live stream last night on their Gran Turismo review. Want you guys to go check that out. They put the review out on their channel today. Dope stuff. And also yesterday they put out a video about comic books and the role that it plays in diversity and everything else. And it's such a dope video. I want you guys to go check that out as well. It's absolutely worth your time. Jason and Tane said, "What's up, Spoiler Kings? We love when people talk in the chat to each other." And Spoiler Kings said, "Sub to all you guys. You are all great. Thank you so much for the support, y'all. Uh, totally appreciate it. You guys are actually the inspiration of me doing live streams because you guys are dope at it. So yeah, love the fact that you guys are in here, and yeah. So with that, I think unless you guys have anything else, I want to wrap up by allowing you guys to tell us more about your channels individually. Let's start with you, DJ.
Yeah. Movie Time Minute. I do movie news, reviews, breakdowns, all that sort of thing. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Threads, Instagram, recently on TikTok and Discord. So I'm about everywhere.
All right, and you, Jason.
Yep, screens and reviews. Just watching blockbuster movies that make me feel like a kid again, and trying to add more to the channel. So come along, grow with me. So you can find me on Twitter or X now, Facebook, as well
Yeah.
as Discord as well. So hit me up if you need anything.
Yep, and my name is Ken Sparks. I run the See for Yourself channel where I offer my opinion on movies and television, but still encourage you to make your own opinion. Or, in other words, see for yourself. It's a little bit of a play off of LeVar Burton, who I grew up with, watching on Reading Rainbow. But at the end of every book, he would show us. He would say, "Well, don't take my word for it," and that's pretty much where I got see for yourself. And the channel was going to be called, but don't take my word for it. But I didn't feel like getting sued, so yeah, we wanted to actively avoid that. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us. We love the fact that you have decided to spend some of your night with us. And even after the stream, hit us up in the comments. Let us know what you guys thought about Ahsoka episode 3. And see you next time. All right, y'all.